Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The political term flip-flopper. It's probably one of the worst labels that you can have as a politician. It did some serious damage to Mitt Romney during his presidential run all of those years ago. Of course, it wasn't the only thing that damaged his political career or his political campaign of the time, but it certainly didn't help. Infamous flip-flopper. All of these labels being attributed to you, well, it's just not a good thing. It makes you seem dishonest, and more importantly, it makes you seem like a career politician who just says what they have to say. And of course, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Joe Biden's the biggest flip-flopper in political history, or at least he's up there. How many times have we made a video covering an old Joe Biden clip that, when compared to his stance today, makes him look like a complete hypocrite? One of my most viral videos from a couple months ago, during the botched Afghanistan withdrawal, a 13-year-old clip resurfaced showing Joe Biden giving a speech warning about the potential dangers of a swift retreat from Afghanistan.
And it makes a big difference to tell the American people the truth about what our options are in ending this war. If tomorrow the order goes out from I'm President of the United States, I issue an order, end the war today, begin to withdraw all American troops. It will take a year to get the American troops out. Do you hear me now? That's the truth. It will take a year to get them physically out. Now, if you leave all the equipment behind, you might be able to do it in 7 months. And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grandchild and mine someday.
And of course, if we compare that to his stance that, well, he just didn't know and wasn't briefed prior to his Afghanistan failure, well, it just doesn't line up. And now, once again, we have an old clip with Joe Biden from back in 2006. Again, looking like a complete liar and a complete hypocrite. I guess you could basically say making the exact same argument when it comes to gas prices that his current opposition is making, which basically proves that even Joe Biden knows that the current gas price crisis that we're going through right now is not all Vladimir Putin's fault. It's mostly, and yes, I'm quoting Joe Biden, because we, quote, lack an energy policy. Let me show you guys exactly how dishonest Joe Biden is. He and his other Democrat comrades know exactly what's going on. They just refuse to admit it and would rather obfuscate. We got some stuff to get into, but before we get into any of it, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible, and with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so we know Joe Biden and his relationship when it comes to taking responsibility. He wants nothing to do with any of that. It's never his fault, and he has spent basically his entire presidency trying so very hard to convince you, the American public, that the increase in gas prices have absolutely nothing to do with any of his policies, despite the fact that his government literally put a stop on federal oil leases, and basically on day one, he axed the Keystone XL pipeline. Then of course we know proceeded to beg OPEC to pump more oil, which they basically told him to F off, and then the very convenient excuse of, well, it's Vladimir Putin's fault popped up, and so now the Biden White House or the Biden regime keeps using that talking point regardless of how totally dishonest that statement is. It's nothing but a political scapegoat. And so let's travel in time back to 2006, shortly after the 2003 invasion of Iraq that led, of course, to an oil crisis, or a massive increase in oil prices globally, where Joe Biden had a little bit of a different perspective.
With oil prices, we were at our conference lunch today and someone said, you know, oil is going to go to $4 a gallon, and Senator Boxer sitting next to me said it's already $4 a gallon in my hometown in California. Well, it is well over $3 a gallon in most of our constituencies, and we're paying that money, in my view, because we lack an energy policy.
That wasn't the contrast always so funny with this guy? Now, of course, he's got a cop-out, he's got an excuse. It's possible that Joe Biden just literally doesn't know what's going on anymore. And it's always fascinating to travel back in time and to see Joe Biden when his brain used to work and he was able to formulate coherent thoughts and sentences. But I think that's too convenient of an excuse. Really, what we're seeing here is a pattern on every single issue. When Joe Biden's Build Back Better plan was being blocked in the Senate, well, he was advocating for abolishing or reforming the filibuster. filibuster. Go back a couple years and Joe Biden is warning just how deeply undemocratic and un-American and dangerous, what a precedent it would set if the filibuster wasn't in place. Joe Biden recently advocating for adding new seats on the Supreme Court, stacking the court, and of course, there's clips from back in the day of Joe Biden warning just how bad of an idea that would be. Joe Biden claims that no one briefed him on the potential dangers of a swift and naive exit in Afghanistan. Then we have that infamous clip of Joe Biden essentially predicting the future of his botched Afghanistan withdrawal, and now the same thing here. In 2006, it wasn't the Saddam and Osama price hike. According to Joe Biden, the increase in gas prices back then was because of a lack of energy policy. That's how you know just how dishonest these people in the White House are, and they continue to insult your intelligence. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre just yesterday, still sticking with the Putin price hike narrative.
Given the fact that they keep hitting new highs, are there new initiatives, new policy proposals that your team is working through right now that could possibly have an effect that you could roll out in the weeks ahead if prices continue where they've been?
So everything's on the table, as you heard us say the last couple of weeks. But I do want to say, look, if you look at what happened when Putin started amassing troops on the border with Russia, the price of gas has increased by $1.51.
Instantly debunkable with the simplest of Google searches. Average closing price in 2020, $2. Average closing price in 2021, $3.89, an annual percentage change of nearly 62%. Get this, folks, that was before Russia decided to invade Ukraine. And of course, the second ridiculous narrative that we continue to hear from this White House, that it's actually just evil capitalist corporations.
We also know that the price of gasoline is not set by a dial in the Oval Office. And when an oil company is deciding hour by hour how much to charge you for a gallon of gas, they're not calling the administration to ask what they should do. They're doing it based on their goal of maximizing their profits. It's been very striking right now to see these oil companies who have become almost ridiculously profitable.
Oh, those terrible oil companies who were totally not enabled and left unchallenged by the President of the United States, Joe Biden. No, of course not, that never happened. He slashed domestic production, hurt the American consumer, now somehow expects Saudi oil barons and Iranian oil barons and Venezuela to produce more oil and reduce the prices for the American consumer. Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. No, it's absolutely idiotic. And it boils down to one thing.
Because we lack an energy policy.
Like I always say, folks, there is nothing more annoying or frustrating than someone lying to you or someone being condescending or patronizing, and that is all we get from this White House and from this administration. And it's not fair to say, well, times change, things are different, their perspectives changed. No, they're just utterly dishonest, and they have a track record, a historical track record of contradiction, hypocrisy, and lies, and we have the receipts for that claim. We have sources for that claim. There is nothing worse than a chronic, lying, political empty suit, career politician, and Joe Biden is one of the most extreme cases of exactly that. And then add on top of that he's currently on pace to be the worst president in American history. This guy is just the worst. And I mean literally the worst. The stats are backing that up at this point. But of course, that's not exactly new information to you now, is it? This is what I got for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.